First of all, I'm Steve LeMay. I just moved here from Dallas. Thank you. We love Nashville. It's my wife, Lori, and our consigliere, Kathleen Wallace, who kind of brought us here. So I work for North U. I'm 4-time J80 North American champion, 3-time J105 North American champion, and I've raced a lot in TP52s and all around the world. I teach for North U. We're an instructional division of North Sails. I don't try to sell anything, so I'm not going to sell you a sail tonight. What I want to do is I want to keep it a very open forum. This is a smaller group. I'd like to kind of get a show of hands. How many people are dinghy sailors normally? How many people are planing keelboat, meaning J24s, S279s? How many people are big IOR, more PHRF oriented? Cool, so we're about 60, 90, 10, so 60, 30, 10. It's for you, John. Is that the pizza?
What's that code again? What's that code? Got through?
Cool. Questions are mandatory. If there's something that I say or a word that I don't portray to you, just stop. Say, hey, Steve, what are you talking about? We're going to be going through some very basic starting maneuvers. We're going to be going through some intermediate stuff. Then I'm going to really drag into some postgraduate stuff that I've learned from big fleets. So hopefully everyone will get what they want. Second poll, show of hands. How many people feel that they really lag on the start, feeling that their starts are one of their worst parts? Okay. How many feel fairly confident on the start line, can do some stuff? Great. How many people feel I can win a start every time, but the rest sucks? I am a great starter, but the other 99% no. I'm going to teach you something. Starting in the first 100 yards of a race wins regattas. Historically speaking, 93% of the time, if you're off the line and the first person to tack across, you will be the winner of that race. So starting is crucial. So we're going to kind of just go through some strategy. Sorry, my mouse broke. I'm going to sit down and talk if you guys don't mind. So really, we need to talk about where to start. You know, starts are chaotic. You really have to have a plan in order to bring the chaos to a norm. And we're going to talk about how to organize that plan. Really means deciding where to base your start on three things. What do you want to do on your first upwind leg? Also the set of your line. What did the race committee give you? And three, putting it all together and making it work. This goes from lasers to maxi boats. One of the first things that I look at is first leg strategy. Hopefully you've been out looking at the course. You know what side of the course is favored. Maybe it's local knowledge. Maybe it's current. Maybe it's a million other things. If there's no clear advantage, it's kind of hard. There's always a clear advantage. I'm going to teach you what that is. Second element is where to start, the set of the line. This is really important stuff. I see so many individuals work on their upwind strategy and this and that and the other, and they have no idea that the pin is 15 degrees favored. The pin is 4 degrees favored. I'm going to show you a calculation on how advantageous 4 degrees on a starting line is. So let's ask a question. Well, how do you tell what's the favorite end of the line? Well, this is option one. To find the favorite end of the line, you can compare the line bearing, meaning you run down the line, to the wind direction. And when you check your wind direction, those of you who have really good electronics, you can look at it. But if not, I see a lot of people don't truly understand where head to wind is. If you're doing a head to wind reading, your jib should be furled up or on deck. And that boom needs to be in the center of the boat. You can be up to 15 degrees off on a head-to-wind reading if you don't nail it.
So a jib in the center won't tell you well enough?
A jib in the center is going to throw your bow back and forth. If you look at some of the really good guys, they'll go up and they'll grab the jib and they'll pull it forward if they don't want to let it down. I never pull a jib out or pull my jib up 2 minutes before the start. You'll see me doing wind readings all the way up to 2 minutes prior to the start. There's this thing called shift. It's not shifty out here, is it? I was out sailing lasers Saturday. You guys, wow. So, That's one way to test the line. I'm not that smart. If the line's crowded, you don't have to run the line. You can actually just kind of do a bearing sight. You can be on the other side of the pin or the other side of the committee boat and guesstimate it. I'm from Texas, so all that mathematical stuff doesn't work for me. Something about fuzzy math in the bushes. Go head to wind, stick your arms out 90 degrees. If the committee boat's forward of your arm, the committee boat's favored. If the pin's further of your arm, the pin's favored. Go sailing. Redneck way of figuring out what's favored on the line.
What's the redneck way of knowing when you've got a late wind shift? Everybody
Do it at 2 minutes. On my boat, we have what we call 2-minute warning. At a 2-minute warning, we are going to decide which end of the line we're going to start with. I'll kind of get off pace here. What I do with my tactician, or if I'm tactician, is I set 4 zones up on the line. Zone 1 is I want upper third of the line. We don't have to win the committee boat, but I want to be upper third of the line. Zone 2 is middle of the line to maybe a little bit lower third. Zone 3 is lower third of the line, and zone 4 is I got to win the pin. I don't want to tell my helmsman, go here, turn right, turn left, stop there. I'm going to give him a zone, and I let the helmsman work within that zone. He knows where I want to be, so it's his job to put the boat there. If I'm driving, my tactician can tell me, I got to have the boat. I need a zone 1A start, and I know that I've got to set myself up to win the committee boat. If he says a zone 2, I know the general area. Doesn't that make it easier as a driver to know the general area instead of him going left, right, up, down, stop there? So talk with your helmsman on zones. Because things change. You can have audibles. Another easy way is to observe earlier starts. If you're in a multiple start race, take a look at the guys going upwind. You know, if some guy crosses on port all the way across at the pin, well, I'm probably going to be at the pin, huh? Watch these guys. It's always easier to look at earlier starts. I don't agree with this slide. If the pin is favored, it is still advisable to start on starboard tack. If you can pin and port the fleet, do it. My feeling is if you're not over 1 out of every 10 starts, you're nowhere near the line. You need to be OCS at least 1 out of 10, or I guarantee you, you're nowhere near the line on an average. Don't be afraid to be OCS. Windward mark position does not determine the line. The line is determined on wind direction, not mark position. Okay? You're going to hear me talk about 150% off the line. All I want to do is sail the first 100 yards the best I possibly can. Because if I'm first off the line and I can cross here, my options get wide open. I'm in zone defense instead of zone offense. I'm defending the first 100 yards instead of going, oh crap, I'm dead last. Well, time to go to the bar. Or go on a flyer, which has happened more than a caught. So, any questions so far? We're kind of moving fast. We've got a lot of stuff. Again, this is what I'm talking about, my zones. You know, pick your zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. If you pick that zone, protect that zone. Don't give it up. We're going to talk about how to do that here in a minute. But if you know that you need a zone 3 start, you better be ready to fight for it. Challenge in the middle of the line is finding the line. We're going to talk about midline sags and midline bulges here in a minute. That's going to get a little postgraduate. I don't agree with that. We're going to have to move. This is 8 hours worth of stuff that we're going to try to cover in an hour. So I'm going to move fast. Let's get rid of this. Okay, any questions on zones and where you want to start? Any questions at all? Man, you guys are quiet.
Why would you pick any one zone over another?
Good question. What if you see at 2 minutes, there's 25 boats all punched up at the committee boat screaming and yelling and hollering? Do you want anything to do with that?
No.
Let's call it zone 2. We're still going to be able to protect the right side of the course, but you have a much better shot at it with clear air. Clear air wins races. Period. How many people have had the starts where the flight attendant comes out, the gas masks pop out of the boom, the life jackets pop out, and you're in gas for the entire upwind leg? If you haven't had that, teach me sail, because I have it happen a lot. Dirty air sucks. Dirty air loses races. So let's talk about approaches. We're going to spend a lot of time on this because this is where I feel most people have a hard time. So there's 3 or 4 different ways of getting to the line. One of this is called the half-speed approach. It uses a broad reach out and a close reach in. Why would this be a good maneuver? You regulate your speed, right? Because you're not close hauled, boned up, going to the line. You can look for a hole. Absolutely. The one you got to have on this is good crew work. When you turn the corner, you really need to have good crew work and know how fast your boat accelerates. Very interesting. Kenny Reed, who's been doing a lot of stuff with the America's Cup, is a very good friend of mine, and he told me, he goes, every boat you step on, Steve, you should know exactly how long it takes to go from dead stop to hull speed. On a J32, I can tell you, it's 51 seconds. On a Viper 640, it's 9. On a laser, it's 6.2. That, you know, is in the back of your playbook. You know, if I just pooch this, it's going to take me darn close to a minute to get this boat back up to hull speed.
Is that not a function of wind velocity?
It is. You have to do a generalized term. You know, you know that that's the least amount it's going to take. You got to play the relative game on that. But if you're out sailing, you know your boat, you should know how fast it takes on all wind speeds. Something that you can do very easy, just out drinking beer, just go from a dead stop, pull in the sails, click. You know what your hull speed is when you see it, click. So, in a big fleet, we see an advantage of the half-speed approach. You can turn back early so you don't get stuck in the crowd. So you've got the throttle back and forth, right? Because with a half speed, we can let the jib out or we can let the main out to slow down. And you can work down here, what I call, you know, a zone 2-ish start. You might be able to find a hole and get in. It's a little harder in light air just because your acceleration factor is different. Anyone disagree with that? So here's another one. This is called the triangle approach. This comes from a beam reach on port tack. Beam reach on port tack, then you jibe to starboard, and then you bring it close hauled. The advantage to this one is on your final approach, you're not making a jibe or a tack, aren't you? You're just hardening your sails. I call this a slingshot approach. You come in, you bring your sails, and you can slingshot up the line. The driver's got to be careful on this last one to make sure they don't carve it too hard and blow all your boat speed off. What is a rudder? It's a brake. A rudder is a brake. A good sailor can tie the rudder off in center line and race a race. The rudder is just an easy way to turn the boat.
Wouldn't that be risky if there are a lot of other boats around? You need room to execute that.
You do need room to execute that. I do a lot of these on staggered start races, or if you're doing a distance race and you have a time to start.
Yeah, oh, you're right.
So this is a really good one for staggered start races, or what we call Australian starts, where you're taking your handicap at the beginning of the race. You would not do this in a big fleet. You would get killed.
Yeah.
So,
but the other one, reach,
the half-speed approach?
and then come back at a close reach, that would work in a fleet.
Right. So let's talk advantage of the triangle approach. It doesn't require a tack and jibe on your final. So your boat speed's going to stay up. This would help on a heavier displacement boat, J32s, big Benettos, more IOR, IMC boats. Because what happens when you tack or jibe? What does a knot meter do? This will allow you to keep your speed with sacrificing minimal leverage either way. and you can head up for quick speed. So the question is how do you avoid the traffic? Well, you can sail over the race committee boat a little bit, but what do we got to worry about when we're coming around here? Stop there. You've got to worry about if you come in here on barging. Okay? Everyone understands the word barging? Barging is a rule that does not allow you to come in here drastically. So if this guy wanted to tack here and come up, he could force you into the committee boat. So you want to have a real proper terminology of barging? Come on. I'll tell you what, if you give me a good terminology, I'll give you a North View trim CD. Man, you guys are an easy crowd. We need to start.
I don't normally see it looking like that. Normally, both boats would be on starboard tack, but the barger is the windward boat, and the leeward boat lifts in toward the committee boat, but he doesn't give way, he ignores you, and you protest or whatever. That's what happens in our laser race.
Okay. Well, we all have those guys that love to pinch and pinch and pinch and pitch at the start, and the whole fleet's 300 yards there, and he still got you head to wind. Love those guys. Ask them how they've done in the last 6 regattas. Play fair at the start. I mean, everyone needs a good start. So around here, you can play. You can kind of do the zigzag and find your hole. I'm not a huge fan of this start. This is the one, I call this the death start. It's called the Vanderbilt Start. As you go way down and you go way back. If you live in San Diego Bay where at 11:35 in the morning they flip the switch on and it blows 12 knots all day long, do the Vanderbilt. But if you get a decrease in wind speed as much as 1 knot, you can be as much as 45 seconds late to the line. And that's certainly going to be the one when Judy's out there taking pictures for the newsletter. And they've got all the boats on the line, and there's a boat way back here. Judy, you put those on the front page, don't you?
Absolutely.
Nice. Don't be Judy's pick, okay? Can we all agree that the Vanderbilt Start can be put away? Yes. Yeah, let's bury him with Elvis and all the other Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah.
I mean, as long as I've been singing a lot of years.
How many times has the Vanderbilt Start worked for you?
I've never tried it because I've always been told it didn't work.
We don't go very far from the starting line.
It works as long as you got 2 boats.
You know what it works is if you've got a Volvo diesel that you can go like this for. Now let me tell you a little Vanderbilt trick. We were in a regatta where it was 0.0. And we knew that we had to pull, this is a huge heavy displacement boat. It was a Nelson Merrick 68. And we hammered this thing right up to 4 minutes and pulled the compression and release. We knew that we could coast for 4.5 minutes on engine power. So we Vanderbilt it out, Vanderbilt it back, didn't even put a jib up till we got to the line, and coasted across the line and won the race when the wind came in. So that was the only time in my 30 years of sailing a Vanderbilt's worked. Let's just put that one away.
And you couldn't time that using the Vanderbilt principle because you were going downwind on the power and upwind on the drifting.
Well, when you turn the corner, if you're going to do that trick, turn the corner and pull the compression release. You don't want to carve because that's going to kill all your boat speed. You get going right to the line and you're ley line. You pull the compression release and you coast.
But you have to judge the distance of the line, not by how long it takes you to go downwind.
I'm not, this is nowhere near endorsed by Steve LeMay or Northview. I'm just telling you it was cool one time at band camp. So let's get rid of that. I hate that one. If you race against me 95% of the time, this is what you're going to see out of me. And this is called the port tack approach. It is a really effective way to start a race. The secret is to know your split time. It's when you go by the pin. You need to know how long it takes you to get from the pin to the committee boat in those winds. Anyone disagree with that? So if I want a zone 1 start and I'm doing a port approach, I need to know that if this is a 30-second line, I better be here at 31, 30, 29, 28, or there's no way that I'm going to be able to get to the committee boat in time. So you'll see me run the line several times to know exactly how long it takes me to get there and back. What's one of the other limiting factors on that? Dirty air. Dirty air slows the boat down. So you got to keep thinking about that too, especially in big laser fleets.
Are you on the line or below?
I never get above the line after 3 minutes. Just,
But I mean, how far down?
I can be as far as a half a boat length away. I'll never get more than 3 boat lengths this way.
You're close to the line.
And you'll never see me above the pin. Unless I'm going to do what they call a dip start, and I'll explain that later. And that's for more dinghy sailing and dinghy racing.
So you got those guys slowly coming up on starboard, and you're racing
Yeah.
down the line on port.
We'll get into the port approach. This is just the first slide. We're going to really go. So the port approach, I'll explain more when we talk about starting tactics on how to execute these different approaches. I just kind of want to give you guys a 30,000-foot view of each approach. Does anyone have any questions on what each approach is?
I didn't understand that last approach, exactly what it did.
So the pin end approach is you come in on port tack and you find a hole and you tack.
On to starboard.
On to starboard.
With speed.
With or without speed. If I want to zone forward, am I going to want speed if I'm at the pin? No. I want to sit there.
You're just behind all the other boats that are running the line toward you on starboard, and you're just going to...
I'm going to go in, I'm going to find a hole, and I'm going to hook it.
And you're saying that's the one you're most likely to do?
9 times out of 10, you'll see me on port approach.
And how often does somebody call you for barging on that when you try and sneak into the hole?
There is no barging in the middle of the line. It's port starboard. It's a very simplistic rule. And what's proper course before the start of a race? There is no proper course before the start of a race. Now, when that gun goes, what do we all have to do? Drop it to close halt. So we're going to get into this in starting.
So you're sort of counting on the people that do pinch up and pull everybody back and give you a hole.
Absolutely. The pincher is my best friend because I'm going to start right below him.
Right.
And he's going to look down and all that beautiful hole that he protected, Goose is going to fill it. And I'm going to say thanks and I'll buy him a beer at the bar. So let's get rid of some of this video. How's the speed? Good? Slow? Fast? Are we going? I know it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. Let's...
You want to take us through the real life start?
We're going to do a bunch of video. I want to do some video. So, use a port tack start only when the line is difficult to cross on starboard. This is a pin end port. Does everyone understand what a pin end port tack is?
Yep.
It's the most dangerous start in sailboat racing because why?
Timing's everything.
Port starboard. What's the other danger? It's being able to get across the line. This is only done when you really feel confident in your boat speed, A. B, have a great crew that can execute quickly, and C, your insurance is paid. This brought to you by the Geico Lizard. If you're going to port tack the fleet, you better be paid up because someone is going to be really ticked off. Port tack at the pin. The only time you do this if the pin was heavily favored. And none of these guys are here pressing you, okay? The only pin and ports that have worked for me is when I'm down here doing a port approach and I get a quick wind shift, like with 30 or 40 seconds to go. I'm already down here. I'll blow some speed, and all those other guys can't get down to the pin to get to it, and I can jet off. This is a very, very high-risk maneuver. This is not recommended for the general public. All right, let's get that clear, because I don't want you to go, oh, pin and port, Steve, and I've got a hole in my boat, thanks. High-risk maneuver, but what happens with high-risk maneuvers? Huge dividends if you can pull it off. You are out of here. So be careful, and we're going to go over these a lot more.
Do you believe that all the starboard tack boats kind of create a lift for the port tack guy?
I would talk about that in upwind. It's called a lift. It's called a backwind lift. Yes, I can talk to you offline on that, but absolutely, there is what you call a backwind lift. If your bailout plan here is if it doesn't work, you've got to duck everyone, right? You're on port, or you tack to starboard and get rolled. So again, your bailout plan is no good. If you can't pull the pin end port off, it's going to be a long day. Just be really careful. I'm not saying don't do them, but if you're going to do it and be convincing about it. Let's talk more into lasers and more dinghy starts, luffing starts. This is to secure a spot on the starting line. The Melgus 24 North Americans and the JD Worlds. Lori, how many boats do we have on the line on JD Worlds? 130?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We had 130 26-foot sport boats on the line. And they set the line from about here to Fred. We had 5 deep. 5 rows. I learned so many 4-letter metaphors. I could cuss in 6 languages by the time we got done from Santander. All right, true statement. You know how to tell when 5 Frenchmen are going to tack? 5 cigarettes go flick over the side of the boat. True statement. Hey, the French are tacking. How do you know that? Cigarettes went over. Oh man, they tacked. Frenchman and Italian, if they flick 5 cigarettes overboard, they're going to tack. This is a good start for lasers in smaller boats because you can dictate what your partner is doing. Okay? And basically you just come up to the line and you luff. We're not going to do the Elfstrom. We already got rid of him. Does everyone feel confident on just a luffing start? Basically you just find where you want to be and you luff. 3, 2, 1, go. So a little more advanced, all you dinghy sailors, if the guy to the right of you is going and the guy to the left of you is going, you gotta go. You gotta go. Don't let them get ahead of you. The good news is that the chances of you being covered up, how many people have been like a boat length over the line and not got called over early? Doesn't that feel great? Or you're the guy up here and they catch your sail number and the 2 guys below you skate and go, thanks. You can't be timid. If in a 50 or 75 boat line, if the guy above you and the guy below you are going, you got to go with them. Okay? Don't be ahead of them, but you got to at least match pace. Because if not, you're in dirty air. You're already in massive, massive offense, and the race hasn't even started yet. So, strategy kind of tells us where to start and the approach you use. Now we're going to talk about really tactics on how to get off the line. Let's make all these things stick. Any questions so far? We're really moving quick, sorry. Okay, let's talk about the start. Those of you that taking notes, put this in black capital letters. Full speed with clear air at the favored end. If you can do this, I promise you, you've got a better than 80% chance of being top 3. Do not give anything up at the start. When I race with a lot of really good sailors, we call it 110%. We want to be 110% of boat speed coming off the line. Why would that be? You want to protect your air. What are the other things we want to protect? Our position. We've worked very hard for our position. Do you want someone to come in and take it from you? Absolutely not. What does that give us? Options. If all of a sudden I want to go right and I'm leading the fleet off, I can tack. If we're in a beautiful shift, I'm going to be the first one to it. Options. I'm not going to get too much into upwind, but I will say, if you're going to pick a corner and go left, be the best left boat. If you're going to go to the corner on the right, be the best right boat. We've all had those times where we've gone off to the right and the left's filled huge and the guys cross you by 50 or 60 boat lengths. There's nothing we can do about that. Control the guys that are close to you. I call it zone defense. It's just like playing basketball. Control your zone, and there might be 30 guys ahead of you, but the 15 that were dumb enough to go right with you, you better be number 1 of those 15. What have we all learned about being way ahead in a race in the last couple of weeks, and now it comes down to one race? 3 years of America's Cup trials. I had my New Zealand shirt on. I was ready to go do the haka and do the Kiwi dance. 2 years comes down to 5 legs on Thursday morning. Never say never. Never give up. Win your corner and be the best person you can be on that corner. Next time, don't choose that corner. So we want to study the line. We want to time the line. These are very, very, very important things. If I know there's a minute line here, I know if I want a zone 4 start, I only got to go up 15 seconds.
You said go to the corner. You don't really want to go to the corner. You're just playing that side of the course more than your opponents.
Right. You want to win that side of the course. I use the corner word probably a little too liberally. I'm not a corner banger. The only time you want to bang a corner is if you're dead, dead, dead last. And you have nothing else to do. It's called a flyer. I'm not a proponent of flyers unless you're dead last. If you're beating one boat, keep that boat beat. It's called match racing. When we won the J80 North Americas, we never won a race. Our best race was a 4, and we won the regatta without having to sail the last day. You don't have to win races. All you got to do is be top 5. If you're top 5 and you go 1-1, 32, 64, you're out. You're in the cheap seats. So for starts near either end of the line, you want to check your ley lines. Does everyone understand what the ley line is? Let's go to our little simulator here. I haven't played with this tonight. If it'll work. Let's set up, by the way, you can order these CDs. Set up the committee. Let's set up the pin. Does that look like a pretty square line? All right, let's do that. The ley line is if you are close-hauled port and close-hauled starboard, that's the ley line. Okay? If you were down here, could you get to the committee boat? No. Basically, it's just lines right here. Those are your ley lines. So let's grab this guy. So let's put about here, 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 and here. And let's put this boat here. Can he make it? Can he make it? He's probably your ley line boat right there.
The one on the left doesn't hold up.
Yeah. Well, you can't. You can't luff someone into the committee boat. You've got to give them an escape, okay? You can't just go force that. That's definitely brought to you by Geico. So those are what you call ley lines.
Wait, you have to give the guy room?
Absolutely. You have to give him an escape. You can protest him, but you cannot force him into the committee boat is an obstruction.
Yeah, but if he hadn't crossed the trains with the committee boat, he's got to
Right.
fly out of there.
Absolutely. So we want to know our ley lines. What's another way of being able to sight the line? This is good because we do a lot of inland lake sailing, is you can find something on shore. What I'll do is I'll run the line here, and I'll have my bowman. He'll go, all right, the far right fence of the White House is our line. So if the line piles up with sailboats, you can sight something on land and know you're not over the line. If you're out in the middle of the ocean, different story. You can't do it. But around here in inland sailing, you can always find something on land to sight the line. Another cool new toy that I don't know if anyone's seen, it's called a Velocitek. It's a little white box. And you go up to the committee boat and you punch it. And you go up to the pin and punch it, and it'll tell you within a meter how far off the line you are. This used to be $20,000 or $30,000 worth of electronics on big boats. It's $499 now. And then immediately after the start, it goes to GPS speed and compass. We use this a lot on places with current because I want to know how fast I'm going over water and how fast I'm going over ground. You guys have a little current out here, don't you?
Okay.
every now and then. You're doing, I'm doing 7-3 over water. Do you really know what you're doing over ground? You don't. It's always important to put a GPS on, and if you'll see me on instruments, I'll have course over ground and course over water. Very, very, very important. Course over ground and GPS doesn't lie. If you've got a dirty impeller and a dirty knot meter, you're done. I'll just turn off the knot meter and go straight to the GPS. Lasers, you can do the same thing. It's very important in lasers to know how fast you're going with the GPS in practice. I always do a practice start. If you're out there, go ahead and just set your watch and do just a quick 3-minute start before all the other people come out. Do a couple, get warmed up. Know exactly your distance to the lines. This is all free stuff you can do. Sail your boat. Don't get in a screaming or a shouting match with other people. My favorite maneuver is to go start talking to a guy above me. If I need that hole, the first thing I'll do is go, hey, Ed, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, what do you think you're doing? And they're talking to me, and I just keep driving. Absolutely. If you're hosed, start talking to everyone around you. Whatever they decide. To create room, you want to squeeze up a little bit and then drive off to accelerate. Now, be careful on this. Does everyone have a luffer in their fleet? What happens when you luff? What does boat speed do? If you're going to luff up to someone, watch that knot meter. When that knot meter starts clicking down and down and down, that's your indication, okay, I got to go back to getting some speed again. I've watched people come up to the line and luff, and they're in irons at 0. They're going 0.3 knots. Then the whole fleet just goes whoosh right by them. Be aware of your boat speed if you're going to luff. So look at this guy. So see how he held all these people up and now he's footing off for speed? Pretty cool starting tactic, huh? These guys are all fighting with each other and he's got an escape. We'll watch some video on that here in a second. So here, let's go back. Here, what's Red doing? He's in a zone 3, zone 4 start, right? But he doesn't want this guy to come up above him, blue, right? So he's just pushing him up a little bit. He's also worried that he might not be on the ley line, right? He might miss the pin. So he's doing this for 2 reasons. He's trying to get up the line a little bit, and he's trying to stop this guy. So he finally gets it. He reaches off to speed. He's got this guy in his dirties, and he's gone. Good start for Red. So to control speed and kill time, there's 2 ways. You can luff the boat, or what have we been talking about? The tiller? Break it. Radically come up, radically come down. The boat will slow down. So there's definite ways to slow your boat down if you need be. Go out and find out which is better for your boat. If it's luffing the sails, over trimming them, or doing some radical turns. I call them crazy Ivans. Hang back if you can. If you don't like the situation here, what is this guy? What are his 2 options? He can accelerate and try to get through this hole, right? Or he can duck down here. Is there anyone down here messing with him? He could come down here, beam reach, get his speed, and slingshot by. It doesn't look like the committee boat's heavily favored, right? Because no one's up there fighting for it. I would say this guy right now, I'd come down here and go. You know, if you feel gutsy and you know these guys are slow, you know, these are Catalina 22, Catalina 22, Catalina 22, J35. Duh. Yeah. Duh. First of all, what are you doing in the Catalina 22 start? You screwed up your first start. Okay, we're going to get through a lot of this. Let's watch some video. So what happens, this is Steve LeMay, and you guys are all here. How do you defend against me?
Close the hole.
If I'm coming you at port tack, this guy, you need to head right at me. What's that going to force me to do? No, it's either bear off or tack, right? The second you see Steve LeMay tack, you head up immediately. The last thing you want to do is close more distance with me, because what's going to happen? You're going to be in my bad air, or you're going to run me over and I'm going to really get mad at you. Soon as you commit that guy to tack, we're going to do what's called sailing karate. So I'm coming in, Steve LeMay, oh, I can't do that. Head right at me. I tack, you luff up immediately. That stops and that protects that distance between me and you, which you might need to bear off for speed. Has everyone got me there? Like 3/4 you get it, the other, I just felt like it just went.
So you're trying to keep separation between you.
I'm trying to force Steve LeMay's hand. Forget wind direction. At this point, it's a match race. I've got this beautiful hole here, right? Do you think I'm going to let Steve come in and steal it? No way. I worked really, really hard for that hole. No way am I going to let him have it. Or I'm going to let him have it. So,
Steve, there's something fuzzy in all this, and it's about when you're the leeward boat, how much time do you have to give the windward boat that you have rights over to get out of the way? And you know, if they don't, like, too many times it seems to me that the guy who's to windward of me doesn't get out of the way fast enough. And, you know, how do you deal with
so good question. If I'm luffing someone up, you'll hear me count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. If you go, luff up 1001 up, protest, that's not room and opportunity. Count to yourself, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. At 1006, if he hasn't moved, you probably have a pretty valid protest.
What have you said to him at the beginning of that count? Have you said anything, or are you just coming up on him?
I give the guy, I usually say, I don't go luffing up, up. I'll say, hey, we're coming up.
Okay, but if you're holding a course, just happens to be closer to the wind than his course, he's supposed to anticipate the fact you're going to come on.
Hence the word supposed. What happens if my boat points at 28 degrees? All right, I'm in a Viper 640 and you're in your J32. I guarantee you I can point 20 degrees to the wind higher than you can.
That's true. I hate it.
Right. So, sorry. That's just the difference of boats. You have boats that point higher.
I'm obligated to get out of your way if I'm the windward boat.
Until the start of the race.
Okay.
Then I have to allow you to fall up to what your close hauled course is, right?
I didn't know. That's why I asked.
Close haul is close haul, whether it be on a Viper 640 or a Venture 21. Close haul is close haul. And why do I want to sit up here and luff you up? What is that? That's two boats going slow. That's stupid sailing. Oh, I got him, as the 35 boats to leeward pass you. It's like golf. I'm going to wave you through, play through. You are now next to last. But you got it, man. You got it. And if that's the game you want to play, great. I guarantee you will not win sailboat races. But you will beat that guy every time. Play your own game. Don't let other people dictate what you do. This is chess, not checkers. You have to watch what the other guy's doing. If you don't, you're done. So this is another thing. When I start on port approach and you see me below you every time, you're my marshmallow. Meaning that I know I can shear off of you every time. So if you see your buddy Gene down below you every time, you're his marshmallow. Where's John? Hey, John, how many times has that happened to J22s? What does Greg Fisher do? He finds the slowest guy in the fleet and starts below him every time. He's nice. He'll buy you a beer at the bar. And he's like, man, I started next to Greg Fisher for 20 races. And Greg goes, yes, you did. Finding your marshmallow. It's the guy you know you can beat and you can pick off quickly. Guys, don't be the marshmallow. If you see a guy below you all the time, you're the marshmallow. Don't be that. What do you say we take about a quick 10-minute break? and then we'll get into a little more tactics. And the bar's open, by the way. The quick break. I know this is a lot for some people, and some of this might be kind of rudimentary. Again, questions are mandatory, guys. Please, please, please. I want everyone to walk away with at least something new they learned. One of the things that was brought up to me in break is the pin and port. You have to cross head to wind and get on starboard again before you luff a person up. You just can't come in and stick it, okay? You've got to establish your tack. Now, there is no right of way before the start of a race. But you have to complete your tack. There is no proper course before the start of a race. That is in U.S. Sailing A1A period. Until bang. Gun. What I'm trying to tell people is if you are luffing, you better luff, for excuse the French, a damn good purpose. What are you gaining out of taking this guy up?
Is that behind the start line?
I don't care where it is. If you're taking someone up above, whether it's above the start line, below the start line, or get into the keg.
You're digging a hole maybe.
No, you're not. You're not digging a hole below you. The only reason that you're luffing that guy up is to slow him down. It does not need to happen for a long period of time. Do it very quickly, slow him down, and then drop off. If you two are sitting up there, two boats going slow, loses, races. I know of no one that sits on the line. There's probably people still out there. I still got him. Regatta's over. You know, we're putting boats on a trailer, drinking beer. Be fair. Be purpose-driven in your tactics. Don't do it because someone 10 years ago told you to do it. Purpose-driven tactics. Plus, you don't want to tick them off. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions on starting near the marshmallow? Okay, don't be the marshmallow. So, starting on the bow. The only time you should have someone on the bow is if you're really, really, really close to the line. First of all, in lighter displacement boats, it slows you down. The only time you'll see any of people that sail with me on the bow is if I'm getting a little bit anxious or I'm not sure that I'm there. Easy bowman signs. 5 boat lengths, 4 boat lengths, 3 boat lengths, 2 boat lengths, 1. Hold. You're good. None of this up, down. The only time you do that is thumbs down as you're over early. Hold, hold. Come on. Come a little closer. Come a little faster. Wash out. General recall. The first person that's going to see a general recall is the bowman. Once you figure out the line and you're like this guy here, there's no way they're going to get the line. That guy should be off the front of the boat. Get off the front of the boat. You're slowing it down. J22, smaller displacement boats, if you're up front, big problem. You should be able to call line on a J22 and a Catalina 22 from the cockpit. And if you're that close, just watch your guy below you and the guy above you. Like this J80 there. Like we talked about, use the fingers. Know your time to the lines. Just like we were talking about. We'll watch a little video here. Blast off the line. You do not want to be super close hauled at the start of the race. You want to be cracked off about 4 or 5 degrees. Like I talked about, the 110% of speed. Don't just jam your sails in and go. You're going to slow down. Laser sailors, what do we do off the line? Hike. Give it a little pump. 3, 2, 1, 0. Pump it over. Get that 110%. Off the record, Steve LeMay Starts. I will not do a tack or a jibe inside of 30 seconds to the start. Unless I'm just washed out. If I'm washed out, I'll have to do it. But you will rarely see me make a high-risk maneuver within 30 seconds. I should already be set up within 30 seconds. I should have already made my plan, dug my hole, half speed, whatever. But if you're tacking or jibing in 30 seconds, you did something wrong. So, let me put some video on. Let's talk about pitfalls first. Getting caught going the wrong way. Oops. What happened to him here?
He's hanging out with the wrong crowd.
He is definitely hanging out with the wrong crowd. Let's play this play-by-play. Right there, what's going on? He knows all these guys are going to come back, right? Why would he continue on? Unless he wanted to have a real duke out at the committee boat. The only time that he should continue on is if it was an absolute committee boat start. Zone 1A start. I got to have the committee boat. You know, get your fighting gloves on, Mike Tyson. I'd lead everyone back right now. I'd lead everyone. I'd tack right here, and I'd luff. Do a half-speed approach. First of all, what's that going to allow me to do? I'm holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm holding 10 boats up, right? How much line do I have to work with? All of it. And if I turn here, am I still a zone 1-ish start? So I accomplished everything I wanted to do by tacking here. And this is one of those times where you momentarily might hold the fleet up. But what are you watching here? Making sure Steve LeMay doesn't come in and screw your start up on a port. Always turn around and look at 30 or 40 seconds. Take a quick shot. And when you get a really good tactician that you trust, he can paint a picture for you. Helmsmen, when you've got someone you trust, you got to trust them. All right? You can't go, oh, well, I trust you 80% of the time, but the other 20% you screwed me up, so you're fired.
So if you're the tactician on the red boat, what are you telling your helmsman?
I'm saying,
Boat length to go.
tack now and hold it up. Tack now and hold it up and get ready for a lot of screaming. And I'll hold up. I'll say, hold up, hold up, hold up. I'll look at the boat speed and I'll say, okay, a little more speed, a little more speed. And I go, Bowman, how far are we to the line? Ah, you got miles. Come on, man, let's go. You're 4 off. All right, let's build a little more speed. Let's build a little more speed. 5, 4, 3. Everyone's on the rail. We're hiked out. We're gone. 110%. And these guys are still up here screaming and yelling at each other. Don't be afraid to lead the fleet back. Freeze frame there. These guys are already beating him in the race. Do you think they're going to let him in this hole up here? No way. He made a bad decision. Heavier displacement boats, the less turns you do, the better. So let's look at this one. 45 seconds before the line. These guys are like 1 boat length off the line. This is 1D35s. These guys, red should have already turned back. So all these guys are on their final approach, and what's red doing? He's going the opposite direction. You know, the line's right here. He's going the opposite direction. Bad maneuver. Let's go ahead and get to some video. I don't agree with that one. We're going to get away with that. All right. All right, let me get to video, sorry. There's so much here. This is a lot. So let's watch a big boat start. This is Key West Race Week. So here's the committee boat. Here's the pin boat right here. See how this guy led everyone back? What's this guy doing? He's doing like a Vanderbilt something. So what's this guy doing? He's just slowing this guy down enough, so he slowed him down. Now what does he do? He immediately drops his boat off because he wants his boat speed, right? Freeze frame. Okay. So he gave a little away, but he still got enough speed here between this guy, right? What's this guy doing? He's a little half speed. Watch how this plays out, though. This is very interesting. Look how fast all these boats are going. So, freeze frame. You tell me. There's the line. This guy's a boat length off the line.
Yeah.
These boats are doing 12, 13 knots. So he gave the committee boat up, right? This guy's praying for a hole. He's up there going, oh God, please, please, please. So let's watch how it plays out. These are all professional sailors. 3, 2, 1, bang. Did anyone fart with anyone else? What'd they do? What would be the takeaway from this video?
They're going fast and they're on the line when the gun went off.
They protected their position, but they didn't overprotect it, and they sailed their own start. This is proof that you can play well with others.
Can you rewind that and just play it again?
Yeah, sure. Let's just watch it in its entirety. Committee boat, pin. Port approach, Steve LeMay comes in. Ducks off because I need speed, right? Do I have any issues down below me? No, I'm going for boat speed right now. He's up here protecting this guy. Oh, my boat speed dies. Let's fall back down.
Go up to give himself room to come down, right?
Yeah, he was just wiggling. He was just wiggling a little bit. These guys are trucking because they all know, freeze frame, that it's going to take them 16, 18 seconds to get to full hull speed, right? Those the first things I said. All these guys know when they got to drop the hammer. Because the last thing they want to be doing is being down speed at the start. 3, 2, 1. All clear.
Looks to me like the second from the top or the bottom and the top boat are both in extremely good positions at this point.
All right. Can anyone cross anyone right now?
No.
That is a dead heat. I'm looking at their point of sail. I would say that the middle to middle left right now is favored. If I had to pick in Vegas the regatta or the race winner, it would be this guy.
Now, why do you say the middle to the middle left is favored?
Look at their point of sail.
Oh, okay.
They look down to me. They look headed. They look on the headed tack. Again, we're looking at video from 300 feet up in a helicopter, and we can't critique it too much.
Well, no, even if you're wrong, I wanted to know what your thinking was.
They're in a left phase. These guys are all pinched up. This guy, now let's really watch some fun. Committee boat here. This is Key West again. If you ever want to see carnage, just go to Key West. Busiest guy in Key West is the fiberglass repairman. So freeze frame. So what we did in Key West now is they had a hard time calling boats over the line early. So they did a committee boat, they did a midline boat, and a pin boat. So it was technically two separate lines because people were getting away with murder. Melgus 24s 2 years ago, they called 31 boats individually. You should never have a general recall if you can call everyone that was over early. The only time how many of you guys do race committee? If you can call everyone over early that was over early, do not general recall it. The only time you should general recall is if you can't see someone. If there's someone down there in the corner that you think was over and you can't get a cell number, 2 horns and a flag. If 6 out of 7 boats were over early, whose fault is that? Is it the 7th boat's fault? No. Why should you penalize the 7th boat?
Because you told all the others to stay with their neighbors on the right and the left.
You're a driver, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a throttle?
I'm just kidding.
Do you have a wheel? If you're over, it's your fault. It's your bowman's fault. He doesn't get his ration of rum.
What's that case story, though?
If there's 10 boats over the line and you can call all 10 of them, individual recall.
So on this video, can you point out the barger, because it's a concept that's far on the...
Well, this guy just got shut out, right? He's going to have to tack back in and barge. There really are no bargers here. The only barger would be a guy coming in from here. Okay, if you're a barger, you'd be pulling a hook maneuver. So these guys are all early.
It looks like there's another boat that got held out.
Okay, this is not a good video to depict barging. This is just a great mass chaos video.
It's nice when it's somebody else's boat.
This guy's over. Hole 237, 234, 185. So what? This guy got shut out. This guy got shut out. This guy. Go. Start. There's more than cursing going on there.
And the I flag was up, so what must the boat that crossed over do?
So if the I flag, does everyone understand what the I flag is?
That's on I flag.
Okay, it's rules. I don't want to get into rules because we'll be here till 2:30 in the morning if we start getting in. I don't play rules lawyer. If they put an I flag up, which is a yellow background with a black circle, that means that you have to go, if you're over early, you have to come around the committee boat and start, or around the pin and start. Or in this case with a midline boat, around the midline boat and start again. Basically what they're trying to tell you is we've given you a couple of starts, you guys are not playing well with others, so we're going to severely penalize you. If Z flag goes up, you have to do this, and you're automatically deducted 20% off your finishing score, and you haven't even started the race yet. And then, John, what's our favorite one?
Black ball.
The black flag. If you're over, take your sails down. You're not allowed to race. Key West 2007, Melgus 24s, they had a black flag. We get to the windward mark in 13th place. The 12 boats in front of us were over early. They had their bow numbers up. They had to retire. We went from 13th to 1st. Woohoo! We're doing great. We got an extra ration of rum at the bar that night. So we'll watch a couple more videos. Here we go, Melgus 24. You guys want to see mass chaos? Here it is. So in high displacement boats or light displacements, they don't have jibs up. With 15 seconds to go, they rip their jibs out and they go. So, again, committee boat, midline boat, pin boat.
Committee boat must be favored like crazy.
It is. It was in the middle of a big tide change. Three, two, one. Jibs come out. Go.
How'd you see that? How'd you know?
About the committee boat being favored?
Yeah.
Because all the boats were there. There was nobody at the pin end.
We're just sitting there.
What's a good way to figure out the committee boat's favored? Watch the way it swings. Sometimes you'll let the committee boat pointed this way if there's a big current ripping. You know, you're looking at the committee boat and you're going to the start and you see the bow of the committee boat, not the transom, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? And I go, oh, we're over with 45 seconds to go. I think the current's pushing us a little bit. We might want to look at this again, gentlemen. So, let's watch. We already talked about those. This is a tricky light air start in the J105. Let's watch this one, and then we'll kind of wrap up. I don't want to keep you guys too long. So this guy's half speeding, right? This is the pin boat. Committee's way up here. I'd say it was heavily pin favored, wouldn't you?
Looks that way.
And the current is pushing everyone down the line. So this is a real issue. This guy really has nowhere to go. Well, that's not the one I wanted to see, but look how far down they are. Look at this guy right here, freeze frame. In about 10 more seconds, what could he do? he could tack and clear the entire fleet. That would be a case of zone 4, I got to have it.
On Old Hickory Lake, you may not have 10 seconds before you hit the bank.
Pay your insurance or call for water. All right, let's see. I don't want to look at current. I'll look at some small boat stuff. I thought I had some here. This is a great one. This is I filmed this. It's a One Design 48. This is right before the America's Cup in 2001. Just gives you an idea of a good start. So he's going to lay it in below this guy. Look how close we get. Freeze frame. Do we have an overlap here?
Yep.
So what does he have to do? He's got to give way. We're slow about it. Okay. What? Even though he's wrong, what do I want him to do at this point? Get the heck out of my way. Wave him through. Play through. Because if he turns right now, his transit's going to hit my bow and we're going to be done. This lemon I'm going to let go. Just let him go. Even the bowman's like, dude, get out of here.
Let him go, but protest it. Right. Wow.
So what have we done here? Freeze frame. There's the committee boat, right? This guy early? Is this guy going to be even anywhere near us at the start of the race? There's no way he can hold it up there. He's going to be down somewhere here. So what I've done is I've let this guy play through to protect my position. This guy goes, I don't think so. That's when you pull the flag out. But now, stop. Am I going to sit there and scream and yell and luff at him?
Wait, you didn't give him room and opportunity to get out of the way.
What's my sole purpose in life now after this has happened?
Go fast.
Boat speed. Drop the hammer. I'm slow. He made me slow. And now I got this Turk to worry about. Luckily, he's not too bad. 3, 2, 1, pow. Gun.
So did you guys pull the flag on that guy that you tapped?
Yeah. And in the One Design 48s, you only do 360s. So he went up, did a 360, and still won the race.
I believe that.
So can you show us the point at which he failed to keep clear and you would have raised the flag, if you don't mind replaying that?
I don't know if I can. I can tell you what happened. Again,
Because he tacked right in front of you and completed his tack.
he tacked right in front of me and completed his tack, right? So he came in, completed his tack. We were so close that I didn't really have to luff too hard to hook him, right? So I hooked him, and at that point, it was about 3 seconds. I was counting 1001, 1002, 1003. I hooked him. I know he was wrong. And at that point, I just wanted him out of my way. So I said, just wave through. So I had him go over because he knew he was screwed.
This is the first one.
The first one. Then the second one I came in where I came in on the port approach, remember, and pulled the LeMay. He dove down to close my hole, but he dove too far down. And in the process of him spinning and coming up, we collided.
Oh, you actually touched it. He was not through his tack.
Yeah, but he was not through his tack yet. So, again, don't get flag happy. I hear a lot of people wanting to throw the flag. You want to drink beer out here instead of being in a protest room.
We just want to keep clear. And want to
Right, just keep clear.
Is.
Right, and in that situation, you've got 10 One Design 48s all within the size of this yacht club. There's going to be rubbing, okay? They're all professional sailors. We let a lot of that stuff slide unless it flagrantly does something to our dismay. If we flagged everything, we'd still be in that protest, and it was 7 years ago. So, So let's talk about a little bit of rules, and then we'll bag it up. It's almost 8. So rules work a little bit different at the start. On opposite tacks, Rule 10 comes into play. So if I'm Steve LeMay hunting in the crowd, you can hunt me to protect yourself. That's the only time when hunting is allowed. Why is it allowed? No proper course. It's for the start of a race.
Can you define hunting?
Hunting is pointing a bow right at someone, not allowing them to escape. So let's take hunting on the upwind leg. We're coming in and I'm starboard and you're port, and you start bearing down to go below me, and I drop off to try to hurt you. That's called hunting. That's highly illegal and highly frowned upon. You can actually get a vacation from sailing from that. That's called unsportsmanlike. Team racing, no, you can take them anywhere you want to go. Team racing and match racing, that's your sole purpose in life. There are still team racers out there stuck from marked traps. I'm going to do a team racing and a match racing. Take team racing and put it over here, because what I'm teaching you is 100% contrary to that. Team racing, you actually want to keep people out there. Mark trap, holdouts, that's pretty postgraduate stuff. But I'd be happy to talk to you about it after break.
So before the start, you can hunt.
Before the start, if it's a port tacker, if it's Rule 10, you can hunt. Now, if it's 2 guys on starboard and you come down and hit the guy, no. Port starboard, you're allowed to do it. But again, what have I been preaching all night? Do it with purpose. It has to be a net gain to you to do it. I really don't like the rules, but we'll go into them. You know what? I'm going to skip rules just because I want to do a rule seminar. Do you guys ever have starts where it's not just upwind? You guys ever do Spinnaker Starts, reaching starts?
Not completely, but we do have starts that are a
We have
little
a lot.
more off of a straight.
Okay, I'll go quick.
Definitely have reaching start.
Yeah,
Okay.
not enough instead of shoot.
Okay. Well, for some reason you guys do like around the lake race. I'm going to get in just quick and off. Start at full speed on a run and set your spinnaker early. How do you slow down a boat with a spinnaker?
You can't.
Sure you can. Absolutely you can. You trim your mainsail into close hauled and you over trim your spinnaker. The boat will stop. Where's the wind coming from? This way, right? What happens if you bring your main to center line? Where's the wind? It's either going to go to the right side of the mainsail, or is it going to go to the left side of the mainsail? Is it going to fill? This is a good laser starting tool. Dead down, it'll slow the boat down, and just over trim the spinnaker, backwind it behind the main. I can sit out here with a J32 and put your spinnaker up and your main up downwind, and I'll go 1/4 of a knot in 20 knots. You can slow the boat down. That's the way to slow down, especially if you're doing an offshore race. You don't want to be early when you've got 10 days to Hawaii.
You need to start doing that again.
Massive bummer.
Isn't that risking a round up or round down?
No, actually it doesn't risk anything.
I mean, because you're not moving through the water very fast, so you don't have much control with your rudder. And then you get knocked.
How's the boat going to round down if there's no canvas for the wind to fill?
Well, the boat turns a little bit and it fills.
The wind shifts a little bit and it fits.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do it in 30, use common sense. If you do that in 30, let me know. We'll pull this video camera out and you will make Dr. Crash. Just be careful. You know, you can do it. It's just another option I'm giving you in your playbook arsenal.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a reaching start. Speed and timing on a reach start are much more important than position. Because if you get to a line early on a reach start, you have nowhere to go. Because if you turn up, you're still reaching. You're still going Mach 3. You turn down, you're doing Mach 2.8. So that's when a time where a Vanderbilt kind of works. I hate using that. Always look upwind. If you see puffs coming here, Let's watch this. Puffy stuff, always look where the wind's coming from upwind. You want to start on a reaching leg where the best wind is. So if you see wind to the left side of the course, put your starting tool on that. I don't like that slide. Okay, any questions on this stuff? This is kind of just basic sailing 101. Again, we've got a lot of stuff. Okay, we went through a lot tonight. I kind of wanted to just leave this for open Q&A. Any questions, comments, good war stories? How many people enjoy this? Would you guys like to do this like every other month or once a quarter? Yeah. Okay. I'd love to do it. And again, I'm in the club directory. I do private coaching. If it's something you guys would like to do, I'd be happy to come out and do some coaching for you. My fee is very minimal. I just try to cover just my expenses. I would like to maybe do some on-the-water stuff with the club. John, would you be interested in doing something like that? Maybe do like a starting clinic? Maybe some weekend, I know you guys are getting into regatta season, but maybe in the middle of this winter we could do just a starting clinic where we go out and we just do a rolling 5-minute. Bring your laser, bring your Santa Cruz 70. We're just going to do rolling starts, and I'm just going to videotape it for 1 hour. Then we'll come back in and we'll watch the chalk talk. We'll rip it apart, what you did good, what you did bad. Then I'd like to go out again and have someone with a rib, and I'll jump on board and really work with individual people on their pitfalls and what they need to work on for starts.
There's a Vanguard 15 fleet here that's on fire with enthusiasm. It's relatively new. We're like 2 years into it. And they probably find a lot of interest.
You guys don't let Chris Laborde sail here anymore, do you?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. He went to UT. I did some coaching for UT. So, one of the things I want to talk about in starting, it's strategy at the start. Always look at what's going on. Don't just at 5 minutes decide committee boat starboard. Things change, and they change very quickly. 2-minute drill. If I'm on board with you at 2 minutes, we might completely alter our starting plan. Be open. Be flexible at starts. Make sure that it's purpose-driven. Don't go out just to hose someone, unless you're team racing or match racing. Then it's your sole purpose in life. We don't play O in sailboat racing.
Well, in our club, we actually, in like our 8th league, half the time we only have 2 or 3 boats out there. 4 boats, maybe.
Yeah, 3
and so it's a little closer to, like a rock shows up, he will try to take you out, try to get you over early, try to, slam the door on you.
Then you call me and we'll...
We tend to not do that, but
the only time it should be is if it's the end of the series and it's just 2 boats for the series. Then it's called match racing. And we've all watched the America's Cup. Match racing is a completely different scenario. But I want you guys to look at the average age in this crowd. We're not getting any younger. And our sport is literally becoming on the edge of extinction. The New York Yacht Club, we looked at our membership right now. The New York Yacht Club will be extinct by 2026. 0 members.
Have you got to lower the fees?
No, we actually need to raise the fees so we can keep people out of the bar. Take people sailing. There should be no one sitting on the dock. There's a lot of people in here that are new to sailing. How many people are new to sailing here? All you people who need crew need to be going up to them right now and getting their phone numbers. Go out, have crew drive for a day. We used to do this to where the owner and the usual helmsman doesn't touch the boat for a race. The crew drives. Make it fun. Make people want to come back out again. We're giving up our time. We're spending a lot of money for the boats, for the slips. If you don't make it fun, no one's going to come back. Trust me. Yeah?
I'm hazy on what you said earlier. You're not allowed to luff someone up into the committee boat at the start. But you want to close the hole on, right?
Right. So let's...
What's your thought if you're close to the committee boat and there's a boat above
let me set up my simulator real quick. Sailing karate. By the way, if we do the Northview Tactics, everyone gets this CD free if you take the course. We're going to probably end up trying to do an 8-hour course here.
When?
So it'll be in 14, or if we get enough interest in the club, I can do one without Northview doing all the publication in Sailing World or anything. We need 25 people to break even. I can do trim, I can do tactics, and I can do rules.
What's the charge?
It's $120. That gives you the book, the CD, and lunch, and the instructor usually throws in a keg of beer afterwards.
Is that 3 courses? It's like $120 for each course?
It's $120 for each course. It's 45 hours of material that we go over in 8 hours. By the end of the day, your brain is swollen. So the question is...
Well, you're not trying to jam all 3 of those courses into one
No,
day.
we do. I do my trim course, and usually I only offer one a year, because by the time you really master it, it takes a year. It really does. You got to have time to go out and digest this stuff on the water.
Yep.
So let's take this guy. So you're saying this guy's coming in like this? Tell me where to stop. Like there? You all right with that?
Yeah.
Up, down, left, or right? Just tell me. Do you like the point of sail he's at? I think I know what you're getting at. Give me
What do you do with the guy above you? That's my question.
At what point do you...
So if you're like this, is that situation pretty... First of all, if you're this guy, you should know better. There's no way you're getting in there. Absolutely no way. If you're this helmsman, you need to have your head examined if you're going to try to get in there. So the attack is to put your bow right at the transom of the committee boat and let your intentions be known very clearly.
But are you bluffing him into the...
No. Does he have an option out here?
He can tack or duck.
He can tack and go out, or he can duck and go out.
But at some point, he gets close enough that he doesn't have anywhere to go, and you can't do it at that point.
Right, so let's take this one further. So let's move.
But if that was 2 minutes before the start,
If you're that close to the committee boat 2 minutes before the start, you have botched your start so bad you need to go back to remedial
then that guy
sailing.
back there may come in and have a gorgeous start.
But Ann, if you're there at 2 minutes, you're 6 seconds from the boat. At 2 minutes, you should be down here on your approach or here doing your half speed. If you're within a boat length at 2 minutes,
Well, I wouldn't try to do both. I'm just saying, if those boats time it wrong, you can come on to whether between...
it's too big of a hypothetical situation. We're thinking within 15 seconds here.
Okay.
Okay? This is 15 seconds. This is what we call final approach. I don't care what you do at 2 minutes. You've got 1 minute and 58 seconds to get out of it. My race starts at 30 seconds. At 30 seconds, you're playing for keeps. Does anyone disagree with that? You're either going to be the hero or the zero at 30. So if this guy's up here, let's take this. Let me drag him. I'm going to have to do this. Hold on, let me grab him. So you're saying a situation like this. First of all, who's sitting there watching the whole thing?
The RC.
The owner of the RC is back there throwing fenders over the side going, this is not cool, this is not cool, this is not cool. First of all, for this guy to press this situation as a blundering idiot, all you've got to do is say protest. You don't even have to go tap him. You've got so many witnesses, he's out. So now that you've protested him and you think you've got a better than 90% chance of winning, now what do you want to do? You want this guy the heck out of Dodge, don't you? So what do we do now? We go into zone defense.
Let him go.
You let him go. To say, all right, protest, but go over me. Just get out of my way. Now, if he comes over here and turns a right turn, then those are fighting words. And then this guy needs to go back to sailing 101. So force the situation,
Do
but
guys ever do that? Do they barge and then just take their turn up the race course and come out of it? I mean,
well, the rule is you have to do your turns as soon as feasibly possible. Now, in match racing, let me just turn this off.
yeah, we're just talking about fleet racing tonight.
Fleet racing, soon as feasibly possible.
Not even go to match.
Now, if he's up here sailing along and he hasn't done his turns, I start a stopwatch from when the time the infraction starts to when he actually does his turns. Okay?
Yeah.
And it should be within 40 or 50 seconds. Now, if it's a 35 boat fleet and he can't do it, and there's boats here, there's boats everywhere. You got to give the guy a little room. Yeah, he's going to have to go over here and do his turns.
I've seen guys go 3/4 of the way up the leg before they do their turns, and
Horrible sailors. Then, no one.
So you could call them on that.
Absolutely, you call. Did it answer your question on the luffing? Okay.
You said you just point right to that.
You point right at the committee boat and let your intentions be known. It's up to him now because he can jibe out or he can take your transom. If he pushes the bad situation, his bad, not yours, right? You have worked very hard for that committee boat zone 1 start, and you don't want to let anyone to have it. Now, I hear a lot of protest in here. I hope this isn't a flag-happy club, because if it is, I'll get on the committee and we'll stop that. That's the easiest way to kill sailboat racing, is to walk in and have 20 protests. If you've got people that are that flagrant violators of the rules, maybe U.S. Sailing needs to get involved and give them a 6-month vacation.
Has anybody ever worked out informal protest? I mean, the person
Yeah.
did it, they didn't even know they were in the wrong.
When I'm on the protest committee, we do what we call 2-minute justice.
Yeah,
Let's say you and I are together and you're protesting me. You've got 2 minutes. I've got 2 minutes. And the committee says, based on your 2 minutes and my 2 minutes, and I think you're going to lose. So at this point, I'll give you a 40% penalty if you accept that and we go drink beer. Or you can press your luck and say, no, I want to take it to a full protest committee. Then at that point, it goes to a full committee and you have a chance of being disqualified for that race, if not the series.
what I really want to is explain to the person who committed the foul that he did and why he did. Not,
Yeah, make it an
I don't care about the penalty.
You can't teach someone. You can't scold people. Okay, that's the wrong way of thinking. You can't scold people. It's up to them. It's a self-policing sport. I'm sure there's someone that's always in the protest room. If you're always in the protest room, being the protester or the protestee, you might need to reevaluate your sport.
We don't do that. We just have some people who continually.
I don't want to get it. We're getting kind of personal here. What I want to say is we do 2-minute justice. And it's called arbitration. John, how many times did J22s, 100, 150, 200 boats? What, 2 protests, 3 protests today? Solve it on the water. If you're going to play, a rule book Nazi, you're not sailing your boat to its full potential. What I hope I brought here is I want you to use the rules as a guide, but not a necessity. If you see something bad setting up, get away from it. If the boogeyman's coming, don't walk into his lair. Run. Run from him. So I think we're running over. I'll be here for any questions, comments. Is there anything else? Did everyone enjoy this?
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. I believe there was libations, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. I'll be here to answer any questions you guys want. For those of you who are sailing lasers next weekend, pray for low pressure.
This weekend.
This weekend? Pray for 3 cannons. It looks like it's going to be a light air weekend.
We thrive on that stuff.
Either that or roll tack practice starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Oh, thank you so much.
I'd like to get with you, or we have Sea Scout ship 851.
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a thing right there for the 100-year celebration that we did.
Okay.